Good evening, everyone. Love. Just hearing the word stirs something inside each of us. It's universal, isn't it? It's a word that holds so much weight and yet can feel so elusive. But let me ask you something. Why do so many of us search for it but feel lost along the way? Here's the truth: finding love isn't just about meeting the right person, it's about becoming the right person. The journey toward love starts with understanding yourself. So today, let's explore the first steps to find love not out there but in here. Why do we seek love? That's a question many of us don't stop to consider before diving headfirst into the pursuit of it. Too often, we move through life with the assumption that love is something we're supposed to have, or something we must find to feel complete. But if we stop and examine the why behind our desire for love, it can change the way we approach relationships and reshape the outcomes entirely. If the answer to why we seek love is rooted in fear or insecurity, fear of being alone, fear of not being good enough, fear of not meeting societal expectations, then we begin the journey on unsteady ground. A foundation built on fear leads us to chase love for validation, using it to fill gaps within ourselves or mask a lack of self-worth. This is why so many relationships feel hollow, transactional, or even toxic. They're born from a mindset of scarcity, not abundance. We're searching for someone to rescue us from ourselves or to plug a hole we believe exists in our lives. But what happens if we flip the script? What if instead of seeking love to gain something, we sought love to give something? Imagine approaching love not as a way to receive validation, security, or happiness, but as a way to share joy, connection, and kindness with someone who complements your life. This shift begins with exploring and defining your why. For love, a reason that stems from a place of authenticity, growth, and strength, rather than fear and dependence. Understanding your why requires deep introspection. It means being brutally honest about your motivations. Ask yourself questions like, am I seeking love to prove my worth? Am I longing for companionship because I'm afraid of being alone? Do I believe a relationship will solve my problems or make me happy? These questions aren't easy to answer. They can reveal truths that are uncomfortable or challenging. But clarity comes from courage, and the clearer you are about why you want love, the more likely you are to find it in its truest form. Once you peel back the layers and understand your true intentions, you'll start to see how they impact your actions and decisions in relationships. If your desire for love is motivated by fear, it can lead you to compromise your values, settle for less than you deserve, or cling to relationships that aren't right for you. Fear-driven love can also manifest in behaviors like overattachment, constant seeking of reassurance, or sacrificing your needs to keep someone in your life. These actions may provide short-term comfort, but often lead to long-term dissatisfaction. When your why is rooted in abundance instead of fear, everything changes. You're no longer chasing love, you're cultivating it. Cultivating love requires you to first be comfortable with who you are. It starts with acknowledging your strengths, your flaws, and the unique story you bring to the table. When you love and respect yourself, your motivation for seeking love shifts from needing someone to choosing someone who aligns with your values and enriches your life. Knowing your why also empowers you to set boundaries and hold yourself to higher standards. If your reason for pursuing love is grounded in self-awareness and self-respect, you won't accept love that diminishes you or demands that you compromise your authenticity. You'll look for a partner who meets you where you are rather than someone who fills a void. A healthy, thriving relationship isn't two halves completing each other, it's two whole people choosing to build something meaningful together. It's also important to recognize that your why might evolve over time. Life experiences, personal growth, and changes in circumstances can all reshape how you view love and relationships. This evolution is natural, and it's why periodically revisiting your motivations is essential. Taking the time to reflect on what drives your desire for love allows you to approach it with clarity and intention, regardless of the stage you're at in life. When you begin to understand and embrace your why, you attract relationships that reflect your inner world. Love is energy, and the energy you bring to it matters. If you're motivated by abundance, joy, and a genuine desire to connect, you'll naturally seek partners who share those values. On the other hand, if you approach love with a sense of desperation or a need for external validation, it can create relationships that mirror those insecurities. Defining your why for love may sound like a small first step, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do. It sets the tone for every decision you make, from the people you choose to date to the way you communicate and handle challenges within a relationship. By grounding yourself in a purpose-driven, Authentic, why you begin to step into relationships as your true self, ready to give, receive, and grow in a way that honors who you are. Owning your story is one of the most courageous and transformative steps you can take on the journey to finding love. Each of us has a story full of victories, failures, moments of joy, and deep struggles. Yet, in our quest for love, we often feel the pressure to present a version of ourselves that we think is more acceptable, more lovable. We hide parts of our story we're ashamed of or that we fear others won't understand. But true love, the kind that's fulfilling and lasting, begins only when you stop hiding and allow yourself to be fully seen. When we try to mask our true selves, we rob potential partners of the opportunity to connect with us on a deeper level. The more we conceal who we are, the more surface level and fragile our connections become. People can sense inauthenticity even if they don't know exactly what's being hidden. There's a certain resonance to realness, a magnetic pull that comes when someone is unapologetically themselves. Owning your story isn't about seeking pity or applause for your experiences. It's about standing firm in the truth of who you are and allowing that truth to guide your interactions. For many of us, owning our story feels daunting because it requires vulnerability. It's difficult to share parts of yourself when there's a risk of being misunderstood or rejected. But vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage in its purest form. Showing up as your authentic self sends a powerful message: this is who I am. I accept me, and I hope you will too. Vulnerability lays the groundwork for trust, and trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Without it, even the most exciting or seemingly perfect partnership will feel hollow. One of the greatest barriers to owning our story is the internal dialogue we carry. Many of us hold on to beliefs that parts of our story disqualify us from being loved. Maybe it's a failed relationship, a family conflict, or a moment from your past that still feels heavy. You might think, if they knew this about me, they wouldn't stay. This mindset often stems from unresolved shame or judgment we place on ourselves. But the truth is, every human being is imperfect, and every person carries a story. Your ability to own your story with grace and acceptance can inspire someone else to do the same. To own your story, you must start by fully accepting it yourself. This doesn't mean condoning every decision you've made or feeling proud of every chapter. Instead, it means recognizing that your experiences, good and bad, have shaped you. They've brought you wisdom, resilience, and depth. Self-acceptance requires letting go of the notion that you should be further along or somehow different to deserve love. It's about embracing the fact that you're a work in progress, just like everyone else. Owning your story also means breaking free from comparison. It's tempting to measure ourselves against others, particularly in the age of curated social media and cultural expectations. You might look at someone else's life and think they have it all together, which can amplify feelings of inadequacy about your own path. But comparison steals joy and blinds you to the unique beauty of your own story. Love is not a competition. The right person will not care how you measure up to someone else. They will care about how your story resonates with theirs. Sharing your story in relationships is an art that requires balance. There's no need to unload every detail all at once. Nor should you feel obligated to share parts of your story before you're ready. Trust builds over time, and the right partner will earn the right to hear your most vulnerable truths. When you begin to open up, lead with honesty, and allow your emotions to guide you, the more you practice sharing your story authentically, the more you'll attract people who genuinely value the real you. It's important to remember that owning your story doesn't mean you're defined by it. You are not just the sum of your experiences, you are also the choices you make today and the vision you hold for tomorrow. Owning your story is about integrating your past with your present and using it as a source of strength. When you own your narrative, you take control of how it shapes your relationships and your future. Every part of your story, even the messy or complicated chapters, holds lessons and gifts. When you embrace your imperfections, you open the door to a love that isn't based on idealized versions of who we think we should be. Real love, the kind that stands the test of time, is built on seeing and being seen. The act of fully showing up without shame or pretense is what sets the stage for connection that is authentic, meaningful, and transformative. We all have a vision of the person we want to fall in love with: smart, kind, ambitious, funny, empathetic, adventurous, or maybe even all of the above. It's human nature to create these lists, whether consciously or unconsciously, of traits we value and hope to find in someone else. But rarely do we take the time to turn the lens inward and ask ourselves if we are embodying those very qualities we seek. Yet, this is one of the most critical steps in creating genuine and lasting connections. To attract the kind of love you desire, you must first be the kind of person you are looking for. Think about it for a moment. If you want someone who is kind, are you consistently showing up with kindness in your interactions? Even in challenging situations, if you value ambition, are you pursuing your goals with the same energy and determination you would admire in someone else? If you're looking for a great sense of humor, do you bring laughter and positivity into your own life? Too often, we get so focused on finding someone else to meet our standards that we forget relationships are a two-way street. Love isn't about waiting for someone perfect to appear, it's about being someone worth loving while recognizing the worth in others. Becoming what you seek doesn't mean morphing into a version of yourself that doesn't feel true. It's not about conforming to an idealized checklist or playing a role you think someone else will find attractive. Instead, it's about aligning your own actions, behaviors, and values with the traits you genuinely admire. By doing so, you naturally begin to attract people who resonate with your energy. Like calls to like, and when you live authentically in the values you prioritize, you draw in those who value the same things. This journey starts with self-awareness. Take some time to reflect on the traits you find most important in a partner. Then hold a mirror up to yourself and honestly evaluate whether you embody those traits. If generosity is high on your list, are you practicing generosity not just in material ways but with your time, your energy, and your attention? If emotional intelligence is something you admire, are you investing in understanding your own emotions and responding to others with empathy and care? If loyalty and reliability matter to you, are you someone others can depend on, both in your relationships and in your everyday life? The process of becoming what you seek requires a commitment to growth. None of us are perfect, and there will always be areas where we fall short of our own ideals. But the beauty of this journey lies in the effort. When you identify gaps between who you are and who you want to be, you create opportunities for personal development. These moments aren't about criticism or self-judgment, they're about actively striving to be a better version of yourself, not just for the sake of finding love, but because growth enriches your life in countless ways. Another important aspect of this process is practicing what you value in real time. Love is built on actions, not just ideas. If you want someone who communicates openly and honestly, start by being open and honest in your own interactions. If you admire resilience, learn to navigate life's challenges with strength and adaptability. These aren't just qualities that make you a good partner, they make you a well-rounded and fulfilled individual. When you become intentional about embodying what you value, you find that love often becomes a byproduct of living authentically. What's also critical to remember is that becoming what you seek isn't about perfection. It's not about having every box checked or arriving at a fixed point where you've achieved all the qualities you admire. It's about progress, effort, and integrity. We are all works in progress, and what matters most is the conscious effort you make to align your actions with your values. Partners don't fall in love with perfect people, they fall in love with real people who are trying, growing, and committed to showing up as the best version of themselves. The beautiful paradox is that when you focus on being what you seek, your expectations for others shift. You're no longer looking for someone to complete you or fill a void, you're looking for someone who can meet you as an equal. When you are rooted in your own authenticity and values, you won't settle for superficial connections because you understand the depth and meaning of real love. This not only leads to more fulfilling relationships, but also frees you from the anxiety of constantly seeking validation through others. Love isn't a transaction where you look to exchange traits and qualities with someone else. It's an ongoing act of creation between two people who are individually whole but choose to grow and build together. By embodying the values you admire, you not only increase the likelihood of attracting someone who aligns with those values, but you also become the kind of person who is ready to nurture and sustain a meaningful relationship when it does arrive. Love, at its core, is a process of creation, not something you simply stumble upon or find waiting for you. We've all heard that love can happen when you least expect it, or that the perfect person will come into your life when the time is right. But this idea of waiting passively for love to find us isn't as effective as we might think. The truth is, finding love takes active, conscious effort. But even more importantly, it requires us to create the kind of love we want to receive. When we approach love from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, it empowers us to become participants in the process, not passive bystanders waiting for circumstances to align. The idea that love is something that just happens can make us feel like we are at the mercy of external forces, waiting for that magical moment or perfect person to appear. It places us in a passive state where we are dependent on chance rather than embracing the role we have in making love a reality. But when we adopt a mindset of abundance, we shift from a mentality of need to one of giving. This shift changes everything. Love isn't something that will fill an emptiness in you, it is something you create, build, and nurture. It starts with how you approach yourself in your life. When you focus on creating love, you look inward. You cultivate love for who you are, with all your strengths, flaws, and complexities. This self-love is foundational. You cannot create love with others if you are not actively creating it within yourself. It means working on your emotional health, understanding your needs, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your happiness. When you love yourself, you naturally align with a vibration that invites love into your life. People who are confident and secure in their sense of self have the ability to create authentic and lasting connections with others. They aren't looking for someone to complete them, they are looking for someone to walk beside them in a shared journey of growth and connection. Another important piece of this process is to shift your energy from desperation to a state of openness. Many of us approach relationships from a place of scarcity, this idea that we must find love soon, that there is not enough time, and that if we wait too long, we will lose our chance. This mindset clouds our judgment and pressures us to rush into relationships that aren't right for us. When we're driven by fear or a sense of urgency, we often overlook important red flags or settle for people who don't align with our values. Creating love requires patience, mindfulness, and faith that the right person will arrive when the time is right. It's about finding comfort in knowing that there is abundance in love and that you deserve a relationship that will nurture and enrich you. Creating love is also an act of intention. When you are deliberate about fostering connections, you invest time and energy in cultivating meaningful bonds. Relationships, just like any creation, take effort. They need attention, communication, vulnerability, and care. It's not about waiting for someone to show up and fulfill a fantasy, but rather about being present, engaging openly with others, and being proactive in forming meaningful connections. When you actively show up in the lives of others with kindness, curiosity, and authenticity, love often has a way of growing organically. We create love through everyday interactions, through small acts of thoughtfulness, through listening with empathy, and through being willing to engage deeply with others. In the same breath, creating love means understanding that relationships come with ups and downs. Sometimes we expect love to come with ease, to feel effortless. However, when we look to create love rather than simply discover it, we accept that challenges will arise and that they are opportunities to grow and deepen the connection. Every challenge in a relationship, whether it's a miscommunication, a difficult conversation, or a moment of vulnerability, is a chance to build something stronger, more resilient. We create love by weathering these challenges together, learning from them, and growing in ways we never could alone. At the heart of this idea is a perspective shift. Rather than feeling disheartened or defeated when love doesn't come easily, the creation process encourages us to recognize that setbacks are part of the journey. We are not looking for love to arrive in a perfect, flawless form. Instead, we focus on how we can add to love in a way that supports growth, depth, and trust. When we stop seeing love as a destination or prize to win and start seeing it as something we continually nurture, we take power over how it unfolds. Creating love means committing to it not just in the highs, but in the lows too. Furthermore, when you start to create love, you stop looking for someone to fulfill a set of unmet needs. Instead, you enter relationships looking to share something positive and valuable with another person. When you come from a space of abundance and creation, you realize that love is about what you bring to the table just as much as what someone else does. By creating love, you also become the kind of person who inspires the same love in return. This isn't about finding the perfect person, it's about creating the environment where mutual love can thrive. Creation is a process that requires time. There is no set timeline for when love will arrive. But if you are putting in the effort, whether through personal growth, intentional connection, or even learning from past experiences, you are already building the foundation for the kind of love you seek. By focusing on creating love, you bring clarity and purpose into the equation. Love is no longer a destination you're rushing toward, it's a living, breathing process you are engaged in every day. With patience, persistence, and openness, you will find yourself nurturing not just a relationship, but a love that has been carefully created over time. The journey to love is never linear. It is filled with unexpected turns, detours, and moments that challenge your patience, your beliefs, and your understanding of what love truly means. When we embark on this path, We often envision a clear destination, finding someone who meets our ideals, someone with whom we share a deep and unwavering bond. However, the pursuit of love is not always a straightforward path. What often gets lost in the rush is the importance of embracing the journey itself. The beauty of finding love doesn't solely reside in the end result. It is found in the process, the learning, the evolving, and the discoveries along the way. To value the journey is to recognize that the twists and turns aren't roadblocks, but rather essential experiences that teach us important lessons. Every relationship, whether fleeting or enduring, provides opportunities to grow. These encounters shape our understanding of ourselves, refine our expectations, and offer crucial insights into what it means to truly connect with another person. The moment we accept that each step, even the painful ones, is part of the greater process, we unlock a deeper, more enriching experience of love. One of the greatest benefits of focusing on the journey is that it removes the pressure of having to reach some predefined endpoint. Too many people enter the world of relationships with a finish line in mind. The ideal love is often seen as something to be chased, something that once attained will complete us and provide everlasting happiness. This idea creates tension because it assumes that the purpose of love is a fixed outcome. We find ourselves defining success based on external milestones, whether that's finding the perfect partner, getting married, or building a family. These assumptions only add pressure and may prevent us from experiencing love as it naturally unfolds. However, love isn't a linear progression from one event to the next. It is not always about the ultimate prize sometimes. It is about learning to find joy and meaning in every phase of connection, whether it lasts a moment or a lifetime. What if instead of rushing toward a single, idealized version of love, we allowed ourselves the grace to simply be with the relationships we have, wherever they are? In doing so, we embrace love in all its forms, appreciating it for what it teaches us about connection, kindness, vulnerability, and authenticity. When we shift our mindset to one of valuing the journey, we free ourselves from unhealthy expectations. There's immense power in acknowledging that we don't have to have everything figured out. Life is messy, relationships are complicated, and growth is a continual process. Not every person we meet will be the one, and not every experience will feel like a perfect fit. Some relationships will be brief but transformational, others will leave us with lessons that inform our future connections. What's important is that we show up in each one with presence and openness. This is how we learn the most valuable lessons about what we need in relationships, how we grow from challenges, and ultimately what kind of love is right for us. Understanding this makes the challenges we face along the way more bearable. When we encounter obstacles in love, whether those are disappointments, heartbreaks, or periods of uncertainty, it's easy to view these moments as setbacks. We often fall into the trap of thinking, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, but the truth is, we are exactly where we need to be. Every moment of joy and pain teaches us something we would not have learned otherwise. Heartbreak is an opportunity to develop resilience. Disappointment is a chance to refine what we want and need, and uncertainty gives us the time to evaluate who we are and what we truly desire. If we can embrace the notion that the journey itself is meaningful and worthwhile, we begin to find beauty in each step. We approach each relationship not with desperation, but with a sense of curiosity about the person across from us, about what we can give, about how we can deepen our connection, and about how we can learn and grow. We view each interaction as part of a larger tapestry of love, where each piece has its purpose, even if it's not the final piece we imagined. Another significant aspect of valuing the journey is recognizing that the more we give ourselves permission to experience love in all its stages, the better prepared we are for the right kind of love when it does come. We become more attuned to what we need in a partnership because we've done the work of identifying those things in the various relationships we've experienced along the way. By the time the right relationship comes, we've built a greater understanding of who we are, what we truly want, and what our standards for love should be. There's also the reality that some people are simply meant to be part of our lives for a short time. Their presence has a purpose, even if it doesn't last forever. These people may play a vital role in our growth, offering us clarity or helping us recognize our patterns, desires, and capacity for connection. They may help us see aspects of ourselves that we wouldn't have noticed otherwise. In embracing these temporary relationships, we open ourselves to their wisdom rather than resisting them for not fitting the idealized narrative of long-lasting love. Most of all, embracing the journey invites peace. It helps you detach from the anxiety of finding perfect love and centers you in the present moment, where growth and connection can naturally unfold. It teaches you that love isn't a destination to race toward, but a river to flow with, sometimes calm and steady, sometimes wild and unpredictable, but always carrying you somewhere important. When we approach love from a mindset of journey over destination, we begin to build deeper, more fulfilling connections with others and with ourselves. True love cannot be built on unrealistic expectations, superficial desires, or a longing for perfection. It thrives in environments where both individuals are willing to grow together, supporting each other, not in spite of imperfections, but because of them. This kind of love is founded on a deep commitment to building something lasting and meaningful, and it does not come easy. It requires continuous effort, conscious decision-making, and vulnerability. In relationships, it's not always about finding the perfect match or anticipating that things will fall into place immediately. Instead, love flourishes when both people focus on building it together, brick by brick, each contributing what they can to the collective vision. A key part of building love in a relationship is understanding that neither person is perfect. In fact, the most beautiful and transformative relationships often emerge when two imperfect people come together with openness, patience, and a shared willingness to evolve. We can be quick to judge ourselves or others based on superficial attributes, often leading to the unrealistic notion that the perfect partner should not challenge us, should not have flaws, or should instantly meet our needs without question. However, true love is far more complex than this idealized vision. Love grows in the space between individuals where both parties acknowledge their respective flaws, communicate openly, and choose to grow together. Building love starts with understanding that vulnerability is a necessary element. Vulnerability often feels like a risk, but in reality, it is the glue that holds relationships together. It's about allowing yourself to be seen for who you truly are, the parts that are messy, tender, and not yet perfected. By doing so, you invite the other person to also share their vulnerabilities. Vulnerability creates intimacy, deepening the emotional connection that fuels love. It is through moments of transparency and shared emotion that the deepest bonds are formed. When both individuals are able to lower their guards, the relationship evolves from one of mere surface-level attraction to something much deeper and more significant. Trust is another foundational element in the process of building love. Trust is earned slowly over time through consistent actions, not promises. It involves choosing to believe in someone even when the journey is difficult or unclear. Trust doesn't emerge when everything is perfect, rather it's during the hard moments when you might feel insecure or doubtful that trust is truly tested and solidified. Building trust in a relationship requires a dedication to not just being honest, but to showing up consistently, holding space for the other person, respecting boundaries, and being reliable. The more trust is built, the more the relationship grows from being fragile to becoming a resilient partnership. While trust is essential, understanding is just as important. True love is built on recognizing that not every misunderstanding or conflict needs to be resolved instantly. Sometimes love means sitting through moments of discomfort and still choosing to support the other person. It is about practicing empathy, putting yourself in the other's shoes and acknowledging their feelings, even when they're different from your own. Building love requires patience in moments when disagreements arise, recognizing that differing viewpoints do not signal a fundamental breakdown of connection, but rather offer an opportunity for growth and compromise. There is strength in understanding because it allows room for both people to be who they truly are without fear of rejection. A significant part of building lasting love also involves allowing space for individuality. When we love someone, it's easy to get consumed by the desire to merge lives entirely, forgetting that each person's individuality contributes to the vitality of the relationship. Building love isn't about becoming one entity, it's about both individuals maintaining their unique identities while nurturing the shared bond between them. Healthy love encourages personal growth, individuality, and space for both individuals to pursue their passions, all while fostering a deep mutual respect and admiration for each other's dreams. Allowing space for each person's individual growth leads to a much stronger partnership, rooted not only in shared experiences but in the genuine appreciation of each other's autonomy. Lastly, love is something that requires joy and celebration. While relationships come with struggles and challenges, it is also the joyful moments that act as fuel to keep love alive. Love is built not just by overcoming obstacles, but also by celebrating the everyday victories together, finding humor in adversity, and supporting each other's triumphs and dreams. Love thrives in a partnership where both people delight in each other, laugh together, and make time to nurture the connection amidst the responsibilities of life. Through simple yet intentional actions like surprising each other with gestures of kindness or taking time to appreciate one another's strengths, love continues to flourish. In the end, building love is a long-term commitment. It's a journey that asks for vulnerability, patience, empathy, effort, and understanding. But it also promises something truly rewarding, a bond that can weather challenges, evolve over time, and provide a sense of fulfillment and deep connection. The beauty of building love is that every brick laid in the process creates something worth more than the sum of its parts, a relationship that feels grounded, supportive, and meaningful. The first steps to finding love aren't about swiping left or right. They're not about meeting the perfect person. They're about stepping into yourself, understanding your why, owning your story, embodying the traits you value, and embracing the journey. Because love isn't something you find. Love is something you create. So let's not settle for chasing love. Let's start building it, beginning within ourselves. Thank you.